Okay, Rabbi Say, let's continue. We're holding in Middah number 2. So for those that just joined us, let me just give you a little bit of an update. We are learning over here, Yud Gimel Midas. These are the 13 attributes of Hashem that He does for us, that we want to try and emulate Him. How best to be as godly as possible? The answer is, learn Tomor Devorah Perik Aleph. It teaches you how to be godly, how to be as close to the Rabbeinu Shalom as possible, and try to resemble Hashem as much as you can, which is an obligation on every single one of us. Okay, so yesterday we did the sugya of Mi El Kamoicha, which we spoke about how the Rabbeinu Shalom is able to cope with the embarrassment that he has from us doing Averas with the energy that he gives us. That's what we did yesterday. And it's an amazing thing, and really and truly, by the way, after each and every one of these shiurim, I tried to do this yesterday also, we should try to focus on the Middah that we learned that day and implement it in our lives. So Baruch Hashem, no one embarrassed me yesterday, so I wasn't able to really do this properly. But it's such an amazing thing. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's go. Hashenis, the second Middah is Noisa Ovon. Noisa Ovon means carries the sin. What does it mean that Hashem carries the sin? Listen to the words of the Heilige Tomor Devorah. He says, V'harei ze godol mahakoidem. In fact, this Middah is greater than yesterday's Middah. Why? Shaharei loyli yaseh ha'odom ovon shlo yibarim mashchis. This is a scary thing. This is why we do this in Elul. We don't do this during the year regularly, even though we should. But Elul is like the best time to learn Tomor Devorah. Why? Some of the scary things. When we do an Avera, whether you like it or not, we are creating a destructive angel. That's the Metzias. You're creating a destructive, bad angel. Okay? Therefore, and he brings over here, the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, Perek Daled Mishnah Yud Aleph, Ha'oiva Avera achas koinu lo kategar echod. When a person does one Avera, he's koinu for himself an accuser. V'harei oise katega oimed lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This katega, this accuser that you created, right, with your actions of doing an Avera, goes up to the Rabbeinu Shalom, v'oimer, and he says, Ploini asoani. That guy, he did this. He did that Avera, and that's why I am in the world. I'm created because that guy did an Avera. And that's an incredible thing. By the way, just to realize, just on the side, I speak for myself, I don't know about you guys are great guys, but sometimes we do Averas. After the Avera, we don't think about it anymore. It's over. But we didn't realize we have now created a destructive force in the world that will remain in the world for a long time, as we'll see in a minute when it goes away. But we have to realize that, right? You speak Lashon Hara, you say something that shouldn't be said, you look somewhere that shouldn't be looked at. Any example that you want to bring of whatever it is, Avera. I think 5 minutes later, we haven't thought about it anymore. It's gone, it's over. But Lamaisa, we created a destructive force in the world. Ve'ein bria miskayemes ba'olam ela b'shipoi shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no such thing as anything that is in this world unless it's actually given permission. And given permission from the Rabbeinu Shalom to live, and the Rabbeinu Shalom giving it the benefit to allow it to live. This mashchiz, okay? And by the way, this is what Noisa Oven means. This Middah means Hashem carries the Avera. He carries the negative spiritual force that we create when we do an Avera. And then he continues, this destructive force goes up to Hashem. How's it supported? Who keeps it going? Who's energizing it? Where's it coming from that it's still going? Hadin Noisen, really it should be that Hashem should say to it, I'm not going to give you energy. I'm not keeping you alive. I'm not supporting you. You're a destructive force in this world. I don't want you to live. I'm not going to help you. Go to the guy that made you. You know that guy that did that he created you? You go to him. Let him energize you. Let him give you power. That's what Hashem should say. Scary stuff, Rabbi say. This mashkas, this destructive force that we created when we did an Avera, will now come down immediately. If we did an Avera that we're chayiv misa for, then that destructive force that has been told by Hashem to go down and get energy from the one that created him is going to come down and kill the person that did the Avera, because that's what Hashem said, go get energy from him. or do kores, or whatever it is, whichever form of punishment that is necessary for the avera that you did, that destructive force is going to come down and actually do that until at the end of the day he goes away. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu could say. That's what could happen. But Ve'ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Osakein. Hashem doesn't do that. Hashem does not say, I don't want you, get out of here, go to him. He created you, he'll sort you out. Hashem doesn't do that. Ela noise v'sovel ha'ovan. The Rabbeinu Shalom carries the burden of that avera. And what does it mean, the avera? It means the destructive force that we created when we did that avera. Just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu supports the whole world, just like every single created thing in this world receives benefit and shefa and energy from Hashem, this destructive angel that's not a good force in the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also is able to continue doing that as well. And just think about that, by the way. Next time you do something wrong, or next time you're faced with a challenge and you're like, I really want to do that, I really want to say that, I really want to press that button, I really want to look there, whatever it may be. Just think for a minute what you're doing. Yesterday we discussed you're embarrassing Hashem. Okay, he's giving you the energy and you're using the energy to averas. But this is something else. Now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to carry that avera that you did, that you're no longer going to think about, but Hashem has to go along and carry it. Until when? Until there's one of three things. Either you could do tshuva, and you have certain, you're going to have certain punishments or whatever it may be that you may have with your sufferings and everything else, and you'll be mevatel through your sufferings. You'll mevatel the destructive force. Or the Rabbeinu Shalom will get rid of the destructive force with tremendous Yisurim and Misa on the one that caused him to be born, or maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send the person that did the Avera to Gehenna and will cause him to go along, and the Gehenna will basically be satisfying the destructive force. That's what Cain said, that the Avera is too great for me to bear. I can't bear it. Hashem, you bear it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you ramish everything. You could cope with everything and give energy to everything. You can also take my Avera, it's also pretty heavy. That's what he was saying. He was saying you're not able to take it until I do tshuva. If that's the case, if the Rabbeinu Shalom takes the destructive angel that we created when we did an Avera and holds it until we do tshuva, that means the Rabbeinu Shalom has such tremendous rachmanos, such tremendous patience for us to do tshuva. He's waiting for us to do tshuva. He's just sitting there waiting. When is my beautiful Yankala going to do tshuva? He's waiting for it. He doesn't punish us, doesn't hold it against us, doesn't hold a grudge. He's just waiting for us to do tshuva. And while he's waiting, he's holding that avera, that destructive energy that we created. That's what he's saying. It's a huge midah of savlonis. This is what it means. Miyal kamoicha. And that's why this midah, says the term Devorah, is greater than yesterday's. Because yesterday we said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu copes with the embarrassment, with the humiliation. Here it's much more than that. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu is holding on to that avera. Yilmad ha'adam. Learn. If you want to go in the ways of Hashem, now we're going to get practical. How should we do this? We're not the Rabbeinu Shalom. We're not pretending that we are. How do we hold the avera? What does this mean? Practically for us. How can we implement this in our lives? Listen to this. Yilmad ha'adam. Learn. Kama tzorik she'savlon. How much patience you should have. Lisbol ovel chaveira v'ra'asoi shehera ad she'yukazeh. That if someone does something bad for you, have patience. Don't hold a grudge. Have patience. Now, I know it's hard. It's very hard sometimes. But think to yourself, I want to be a little bit more like Hashem. How do I do that? When someone does something wrong for me, I'm going to go out of my way to not hold it against him and just to wait for him to do tshuva. So if someone does something bad to you, he ruins your parnasa chas v'shalom, or whatever it is that he does, you should say, you know what? I'm going to cope with it. I'll be okay. And you know what? He'll come and do tshuva. He'll come to me, he'll ask me mechila, maybe he'll pay me back the money, whatever it may be. But we could be a little bit more godly if we have the ability to be like Hashem who's able to wait, and you know what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu waits sometimes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years for a person to do tshuva on something he did when he was younger, which is a chaval. Let's not do that. Of course, we should do tshuva early. But really, we have to be a sablan, we have to be someone that's patient in our ben adam lechaveira and everyone else. And that is something practical that we absolutely can implement in our life. There's no question about it. Where by us waiting for that person, we are fulfilling v'halachta b'drochov, going in Hashem's ways. We'll become more godly, we'll become greater people and better people. Be'ez Hashem, next week, we're going to go to Middah number 3.